saying is, this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And you know, we can rejoice tonight because we have all of our beautiful family members, including 3 new members that Holly will talk about shortly. So it's a real privilege for me to introduce my daughter. And this can count towards her 2 minutes, okay? All right. Now, you all right with that?
This is
I'm in the 70s, I can introduce her a little bit more.
Absolutely.
So Holly said, Dad, when you introduce me, can you just read this? I said, Holly, that's in your book. I don't need to read this. I know you better than anybody. If I can't introduce you, who can? Well, maybe her husband can, or her children. But the Lord has blessed me with 3 wonderful daughters, 1 wonderful son, 9 grandchildren, and was it now 8 great-grandchildren. So I've been blessed. I've been blessed. And Holly has done so much work in bringing forth a book that she wrote called The Raleigh Road. And 7 years of research. 7 years. Many of you, I know Myrna has done a lot of research and many others. But we need to continue to do even more. Because last year at the picnic, Holly was able to find a cousin and her father that he didn't even know about it. And now they're rejoicing because that happened together. And again, this year, so next time we want to see more members that we find together. But Holly has paved the way. She's a member of DAR, Daughters of American Revolution, and she's paved the way for many of us. All of us sitting here can become a DAR member or an SAR, Son of American Revolution, which I am. So when people say, go back to Africa, whoa! Yeah, I can go back, I can trace some of my answers back there. I can also trace some of my other answers way back to the Revolutionary War. So that's not that. So Holly, my baby, she's a middle child. We call her the drill sergeant because she does take charge. Does she take charge at times? But anyway, she's very talented, she's a hard worker, and we love you dearly. And now your 10 minutes begin.
Thank you, Dad. Jacob Riley begot John Riley. John Riley begot Joseph Riley. Joseph Riley begot Thomas Jefferson Riley. Thomas Jefferson Riley begot Preston Riley. Preston Riley begot Lavinia Riley Ellison. Lavinia Riley Ellison begot William Clifford Ellison. William Clifford Ellison begot Willie Ellison. Willie Ellison begot Holly Ellison Henderson. And Holly Ellison Henderson begot Michael Paul Preston and Phoebe Henderson. This is my story. This is my lineage. This is my family legacy. This is American history. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, family, and welcome to the Riley Reunion. It's my honor to have been invited by the Riley Reunion Committee to present to you over 200 years worth of family history, of American history, to you in the next 10 minutes. I hope that you're enjoying yourselves, making memories, building relationships, making connections. That is what family reunions are all about, whether it's here in Charleston, or in Orlando, or DC, or Jacksonville, or wherever. Building relationships is what the Riley family has been doing for generations. Making connections between a vast historical archive of information is my goal here tonight. People learn in a variety of ways. I've attempted to showcase this information visually in a way that hopefully will be clear and concise. In the Riley booklet that was emailed to you this week was the famous letter from Frank Riley to Aunt Florence Riley Edwards back in the early 1970s. Aunt Florence is one of Preston's children. The mystery was finding out more information about Aunt Florence's paternal grandfather, only known then as the Judge, or Judge Riley. We never knew his first name. In 2016, I began a quest to unravel this mystery. Thanks to technology like Google and Ancestry.com, I was able to find documents of one of the founders of Butler, Taylor County, Georgia, that had listed a, quote, T.J. Riley as one of the town's founders. Other documents showed his full name as Thomas Jefferson Riley. I compiled this information into Ancestry.com, which led me to discovering Preston's second paternal great-grandfather, Jacob Riley, who I later identified as a patriot in the American Revolutionary War. The evidence enabled me to apply and be inducted in 2017 in the National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution, or known as the DAR. Jacob Riley was a new patriot to the DAR. They did not even know that he existed, and the research contributed to the database and historical vault of American history. While this information was still fresh in my mind, I collected the research and self-published Riley wrote, Navigating the Path to Discover My Sixth Great-Grandfather, Jacob Riley, which is available both as a paperback and a Kindle version on Amazon for $9.99. All right, quickly I'm going to go through these 4 trifold boards. This first board is the letter to, it's called the letter. It shows the descendants of Patriot Jacob Riley, down to Frank Riley, who wrote the letter to Aunt Florence. In response to her letter to him asking for information about her grandfather. Joseph Riley was married twice. The older half-brother is Thomas Jefferson Riley from his first marriage. The younger half-brother is Alexander Hamilton Riley, also a judge, was from Joe's second marriage. In Frank's letter, he mentioned several names, and it took some time during the writing of the book, but I was able to untangle and identify the names. The biggest nugget of information was the mention of Martin Homer Riley, who was found on the second board. This second board shows Patriot Jacob Riley down to Thomas Jefferson Riley. The board then splits off, showing 2 descendant lines. One white line, descended from his wife, Harriet Howe. One black line, descended from Thomas Jefferson Riley and Mamie Sally, after Harriet had passed. Many of you have been to the family cemetery at Antioch Baptist Church, and you've seen the graves of the white Rileys and the black Rileys. These are the white Rileys. These are the black Rileys. And I've tried to do it visually with different colors, and you can see where the lines merge. Martin Homer Riley, who was mentioned in the book, and Preston Riley were half-brothers. Martin Homer's great-granddaughter, Norma, her daughter, Shelley, and Shelley's daughter, Lizzie, are celebrating with us here this weekend. And some of you met them last night. Ladies, would you please stand for a moment and smile and wave? These are descendants. Norma County Ancestry, with the research that I have uploaded. Thank you, ladies, for making it. And we've made connections. Tonight is about making connections, but it doesn't end tonight. All right, this middle section shows Jacob Riley, the Revolutionary War patriot, down to my children. Michael Paul Henderson, Preston Riley, who's named after his third great-grandfather, and Phoebe Marie Henderson. You may have a seat. And then this line again shows Jacob Riley down to Preston and his siblings, Tim, William, Sanders, and Clinton. And as I talk and you look at the board, you'll see many names are recycled throughout the family during the generations. All right. All right, moving over here to the third board. Preston, can you hold it? Preston's going to hold the Preston board. All right, when I was making this board last night, I realized that I have 13 children listed listed for Preston, and the family history book only lists 11 children for Preston. Of course, my smartphone died last night, and I was in the middle of a migraine, so I couldn't reconcile the discrepancy until this morning. John Riley, number 7 on this board in the middle, is listed, and he's also known as AKA Riley. On the census documents, he's really John Ellison, my great-grandfather, who was married to Preston's daughter, Lavinia Riley Ellison. And it's my understanding that John Ellison lived on the Riley family property, and that's why he's listed on some of the census documents. So you might see a John Riley listed on some census documents. It's really John Ellison, who was married to Preston's daughter, Lavinia. Also, so Preston really had 12 children. So ignore John. The other missing one sibling that is not in the family history book is Gussie. Now, this Gussie was a male, and we later had a female Gussie on the Ellison side. Gussie apparently did not have children, and Clinton, also known as Honey, married his cousin, third cousin, who was a McCrary, who was also descended from Patriot Jacob Riley. Also, I forgot to mention on the other side that Mamie Sally, I only found this out maybe in the last year or so during COVID, was that Mamie Sally and Thomas Jefferson Riley were actually third cousins. So the people sitting in this room are descended in 2 ways from a Revolutionary War patriot. She was a Gray, all right? So what I would like to do is quickly, sorry, I don't know if you can see. Okay, let's just, all right, I'm gonna go through the names. What I would like to do to continue research, if you are a descendant of one of these branches of Preston's children, to please stand. We will recognize you. When the presentations are over during the banquet, I have some sheets here. If there is a representative from that line, or if you are from that line, please sign the sheet with your contact name, email address, and phone number, and we can continue the research. And some of these lines that are not represented here tonight, which are probably most of them, we can reach out to them or try to make connections again and fill the room, a bigger room next time, yes? All right, so if you're a descendant of Preston's son William, will you please stand? If you're a descendant of Cleveland, will you stand? Sanders? Elmira Riley Searcy? No. Bury? Also known as Dick? No. All right. I know there are descendants here. My great-grandmother, Lavinia Riley Ellison. If you're a descendant of Lavinia and John Ellison, please stand. All right. There were twins, Jesse and Henry Clay, known as Fox. If you're a descendant of Jesse, please stand. If you're a descendant of Henry Clay, are you anyone representing Henry Clay tonight? All right, family, we've got some work to do, right? We have a lot of cousins missing that should be representing their legacy, their heritage here on this board. Gussie apparently didn't have any children, but if you're a descendant of Gussie, please stand. We'll sort that out later. All right, then the majority of the room should be standing next for Aunt Florence Riley Edwards. All right. Very good, thank you. Any relatives here from Dudley? No? And finally, Uncle Clinton's name was Riley or Honey. He and Aunt Orly didn't have any children that we know of, but if you're a descendant of his, please stand. Okay, very good. Thank you, Preston. We'll put that slide back. All right, this last board is a representation of the daughters of the American Revolution, children of the American Revolution, and sons of the American Revolution. As descendants of Patriot Jacob Riley through Thomas Jefferson Riley and his line through Preston Riley, everyone in this room here, if you're not already, are eligible to join the lineage society of the daughters, sons, or children of the American Revolution. These 3 children who were inaugurated on July 4th of 2017 in Maryland, and now they serve as state officers here in South Carolina for the Children of the American Revolution. But what is happening within the society lines, most of the members are getting older, kind of like in our church parishes and our families. And most of the members who have joined previously throughout time usually had a grandmother that was a DAR member or SAR member. But a lot of those people are passing on. Their children are either not interested in joining, or they didn't have a lot of children, or great-grandchildren. However, the worksheets that I attached to the email that was sent out by the family with the history booklet, if you're not sure how you descend, but most of you are from the Edwards family, you fill out the worksheets. There's several different ways. You can go from Jacob Riley over there on down to you, or from you making your way up to Jacob Riley. Alright? If you're eligible, you are eligible. If you're interested, I also have a sign-up sheet here. I will work with you. It's an amazing opportunity to, again, make connections, show that we are also part of American history, and to preserve our lineage within the context of American history. So I invite you to please consider doing that. All right, quickly. All right, thank you, Phoebe. You can put that back. All right, I would like to give away copies of this book, Riley Road. If you look under your chair, there's one special chair at each table with a little ticket that looks like this, a laminate ticket. You have one free copy, autographed book, and Riley Road. And you'll hold your own ticket. You will pass. Hold your golden ticket. All right. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present the information. Now that you have an overview, you can go back and look at the PowerPoint that was sent to you. You can fill out the worksheets. Please feel free to contact me if you have additional information or clarification or anything like that. I'm going to close this out with a poem that is included in the book called Riley Road, that my sister Natalie is going to read, because I get very emotional when I read it every time. And I'm going to say thank you, and enjoy your stay, and God bless you all.
Good job, Molly. I know you worked really hard on this presentation and this research for years and years and years, and I know it's very near and dear to your heart. You're like an unofficial historian of the family, so we thank you for that, and hopefully she connected a lot of the dots for all of us. So, this is The Riley Road by Holly Henderson. Traveling down Riley Road, looking for my lost abode. Yes, I have no doubt that my ancestors are calling out, like genetic Morse code tapping on my heart. Even though we are miles apart, it is loud and clear, these voices that I hear. I cannot deny the tears in my eyes as I pine away, looking desperately every day to find them, to find me. For it is me that I seek in the depths of the deep, walking, running, driving there. It is a heavy load that I bear on this lonely stretch of road that generations before me sowed. Now it is time to reap tears of joy in a timeless feast. The smiley Rileys are my kin. My face is radiant as I grin. Generations past foretold that I would come home